The boardroom door slammed open like a gunshot, shattering the sterile hum of fluorescent lights and whispered deals.
S9, create a consistent video with the context.
Cooper, stick to the flowers and the fairy lights, sneered Derek, the firm's golden boy VP. His voice dripping venom as the room erupted in stifled chuckles from suits who pretended not to hear. Cooper froze mid-presentation, his heart a freight train derailing in his chest. The mock-up of the gala's centerpiece, a cascade of rainbow-hued orchids symbolizing fragile alliances, trembling in his grip like his own unraveling dignity. In that instant, the world narrowed to the burn of those words, etched into his soul like acid on glass, and he wondered if this was the moment he'd finally snap or finally rise. Cooper Harlan had always known he was playing with fire in a city that worshipped it. New York chewed up dreamers and spat out husks. But at 32, he'd carved out a niche in the glittering underbelly of event planning for the elite. His firm, Pex Events, perched on the 47th floor of a midtown tower, orchestrated weddings for hedge fund tycoons and galas for art collectors who treated Picassos like wallpaper. Cooper was the wizard behind the curtains, the one who turned chaos into couture. But to the alphas in the corner offices, he was just the gay planner, a punchline whispered in elevators, a convenient scapegoat when budgets ballooned or timelines frayed. It started small, those barbs. A client email seeing everyone, Cooper, darling, make it fabulous, but not too fabulous. Laughter in the break room when he suggested a drag queen MC for a corporate retreat. Keep it straight. We don't want to scare the straights. He laughed along at first. The good sport. The one who baked tolerance into his resume like it was a resume builder. Born in a Rust Belt Ohio town where faggot was both slur and sacrament, Cooper had fled to the Big Apple at 18 with a scholarship to Parsons and a backpack full of unspoken wounds. He thought he'd be free. Love could be a verb, not a verboten. But freedom had teeth. His loft in Chelsea was a sanctuary of exposed brick and IKEA regrets. Walls lined with Polaroids of past events. A rooftop proposal under the Brooklyn Bridge. A pride float that made the papers. Nights blurred into swipes on Grindr. Hookups that left him hollower than before. Until Julian Reyes entered his life like a plot twist in a Nora Ephron rom-com, messy, inevitable, and achingly real. They met at a Apex holiday mixer. Julian, the new junior exec from marketing. All broad shoulders and easy grins. His Puerto Rican heritage painting his skin in warm sienna tones. You're the guy who made that Met Gala after-party happen? That was magic, Julian said. Clinking glasses. His dark eyes locking on Cooper's with an intensity that felt like foreplay. By midnight, they were in a cab headed to Cooper's. Hands tangled in the back seat, the city lights streaking past like shooting stars. That first night, as they tumbled onto the bed, Julian's touch was reverent, mapping Cooper's body like uncharted territory. You're beautiful, Julian murmured against his collarbone, fingers tracing the curve of his hip. Cooper arched into it, gasping, the vulnerability cracking him open. For the first time in years, sex wasn't escape, it was communion. Julian stayed till dawn, brewing coffee in Cooper's chipped mugs, talking dreams, Julian's climb up the corporate ladder, Cooper's secret ambition to launch his own firm. You're too good for this place, Julian said, kissing his temple. They don't deserve you. But Apex did own him, in ways that gnawed like debt. The firm was a machine, Oiled by egos and expense accounts. Run by Harlan Voss. Same last name. No relation. A coincidence that haunted Cooper like a bad omen. Voss was the kingpin. 60-something with a comb-over and a Rolodex of regrets. Barking orders from his glass-walled empire. Under him, Derek Langford ruled the roost. A 35-year-old shark in bespoke suits, whose idea of team building was happy hours where the drinks flowed but the respect didn't. Derek embodied the firm's toxic masculinity, straight, married, to a trophy who posted Pilates reels. And ruthless. He poached clients, buried mistakes, and viewed Cooper's flair as a threat to his own bland competence. The boardroom blow-up came 6 months into Cooper and Julian's secret. They'd kept it quiet, workplace romance roulette, especially for two men in a firm that waved rainbow flags at pride but clutched pearls at actual queerness. Julian had warned him, Derek's got ears everywhere. Play it cool. But cool was crumbling. The gala in question was for Voss's biggest client. A pharma giant launching a diversity initiative that reeked of greenwashing. Cooper's vision, an immersive garden of bioluminescent plants, symbolizing hidden strengths emerging in the dark. Budget, $2.5 million. Derek's notes, too queer. Tone it down. The presentation was a bloodbath. Cooper stood at the head of the mahogany table, laser pointer in hand, his navy blazer tailored to hug his frame just right, a subtle fuck you to the sea of khakis. Slides flickered, mood boards, vendor bids, timelines etched in gold. This isn't just an event, he said, voice steady as a surgeon's. It's a statement. In a world that's still half in the shadows, we light the way. Snickers rippled. Then Derek leaned back, arms crossed. That smirk like a switchblade. Light the way? But let's be real, this is corporate, not a bathhouse bash. You're just the gay planner. Cooper. Stick to the flowers and the fairy lights. The room froze, then thawed into awkward coughs and averted eyes. Julian, seated across, went rigid, his jaw ticking like a bomb. Cooper's vision tunneled. Heat flooded his face. Not shame but fury, a white-hot forge in his gut. He set the pointer down, deliberate, the click echoing like a gavel. Fairy lights, he echoed, voice low, laced with something dangerous. Because nothing says diversity like dimming the shine. Laughter barked out, Voss's guffaw the loudest. A wet rumble that sealed the wound. He gathered his binders, spine straight as rebar, and walked out. The elevator descent felt eternal. Mirrors reflecting a man on the edge, hazel eyes stormy, lips pressed thin. By the time he hit the lobby, tears pricked, hot and traitorous. The November chill slapped him awake. He hailed a cab, texted Julian, need you. Julian was there in 20, bursting through the loft door like a force of nature. What the fuck? Derek's an asshole. But you can't, he stopped, seeing the raw hurt carved into Cooper's face. Arms wrapped around him, pulling him close. Julian's heartbeat a steady drum against his chest. Hey. Breathe. You're more than that shit. They made love that afternoon with a desperation that bordered on violence, bodies slamming, breaths ragged, Julian's hands pinning Cooper's wrists as if to anchor him to the earth. I love you, Julian gasped afterward. Curled against him, sweat-slick skin cooling in the gray light. And I'll quit tomorrow if you want. Fuck them. But Cooper didn't want quits. He wanted justice. As Julian dozed, he slipped from bed, padding to his desk overlooking the Hudson. His laptop glowed. Spreadsheets open, side gigs, freelance holes. A nest egg from years of scraping. $1.2 million. Not enough for Apex. Valued at $15 mil. But seeds for something bigger. He fired off an email to his mentor, Elena Vasquez, a queer powerhouse who'd mentored him out of Parsons. How do I buy the cage I'm trapped in? Her reply came at midnight. You don't buy it. Me, Joe. You build a bigger one. The next weeks were a pressure cooker. The work. The air crackled with unspoken fallout. Derek strutted like he'd won an Oscar. Assigning Cooper grunt work, napkin folds, vendor chases. Julian played neutral, his touches in the supply closet fleeting. Guilty. It's politics. Ride it out. But Cooper couldn't. Just the gay planner, echoed in his skull. A mantra of marginalization. He dove into side hustles, networking at underground queer mixers in the Village, where drag kings swapped investor tips over Manhattans. One night, buzzed on gin and grief, he spilled to Elena over FaceTime. They see me as a stereotype. Flamboyant. Disposable. Elena, silver-haired and sharp as a stiletto, leaned in. Then flipped the script. Cooper. You're not just a planner, you're a visionary. And visionaries buy companies. It started with a whisper, a VC contact from Elena, interested in disruptive event tech. Cooper pitched not flowers, but an app, AI-driven personalization for events. Queer-coded inclusivity baked in. Seed funding, $3 mil. Then $8. His loft became command central. White-barred scrawled with logos. Julian pacing as cheerleader and critic. This could tank us, Julian warned one dawn. Shadows under his eyes from double shifts. But God, if it hits, by spring, Cooper's startup, Lumina Events, was live. Clients trickled, a trans influencer's launch, a bi-couple's vow renewal. Revenue climbed, a slow burn to inferno. Apex noticed, Voss poached a Lumina gig, undercutting fees. Derek's email, friendly reminder, non-compete clause. Cooper laughed, deleting it. The clause was ironclad, but his ambition was titanium. Meanwhile, deepened into something sacred. Julian proposed on a whim. During a picnic in Central Park, hamper unpacked. Skyline framing his kneel. Marry me. Not despite the world, because of it. Ring simple, platinum band etched with vines. Matching his to. Yes came easy. Tears salter than the sea. But cracks spiderwebbed. Julian's late night stretched. Team drinks, with Derek. Whispers in the hall, Reyes is Voss's new pet. Cooper shoved out down. Focusing on the buyout. Elena connected him to a consortium, queer investors tired of corporate closets. Valuation talks heated, Apex vulnerable. Voss eyeing retirement. Derek angling for CEO. The night before the pitch, Julian came home reeking of scotch and secrets. Derek knows about Lumina. He's offering me a promotion. If I bring him intel, Cooper's blood iced. Intel? On what? Nothing big. But strategies. Julian's eyes darted. Plea in them. It's survival. For us. Betrayal bloomed. Slow poison. Cooper nodded. Kissed his forehead. Do what you gotta. Blow. He wept, not for the leak, but the fracture. Love wasn't armor, it was Achilles' heel. Summer scorched Manhattan into a pressure cooker, the kind where resentments fermented and exploded. Cooper's days blurred, Lumina's offices in a Soho walk-up, humming with coders and creatives, mostly queer, all fierce. His team, Mia, a non-binary genius hacking algorithms for empathy mapping at events, Theo, a burly ex-Marine turned florist with a soft spot for sunflowers. They built not just apps, but empires of equity. Fuck Apex, Mia said over takeout ramen. We're the revolution. Knights belong to Julian. Or tried to. Their wedding plans wove through the chaos. A small affair in the Catskills. Wildflowers and whiskey toasts. But Julian withdrew. Phone buzzing like a hornet's nest. Client calls, he'd mutter. Vanishing into the bedroom. Cooper traced the distance in empty wine glasses. The way Julian's laughs grew forced. One evening. Post-argument over nothing, burnt toast, a misplaced key. Julian snapped, "You're obsessed." This buyout, it's eating you alive. Eating me? Cooper's voice cracked. Raw as exposed wire. They called me a fairy in front of the board. You were there. And now you're Derek's whisper. Julian flinched. Color draining. It's not, God. It's complicated. Apex is family. Voss gave me my start. But Cooper jerked back. The space between them a chasm. Family? Or fraternity? The one that pats queers on the head but kicks us in the balls. Silence stretched. Brittle. Julian's confession tumbled, leaked specs on Lumina's AI. Minor tweaks Derek appreciated. It was harmless. To protect us. But harm was subjective. Once shattered. Left shards. Cooper fled to the fire escape. City pulse below a mocking symphony. He lit the cigarette, rare vice. Borrowed from Theo, inhaling regret. Below. Cabs honked like accusations. Was this love's price? Compromise until you were complicit? Dawn found him scripting the pitch, consortium meeting at the Polo Lounge. Beverly Hills, ironic. A queer kid invading straight-laced luxury. The flight west was purgatory. Julian's texts apologetic emojis masking the void. Elena met him curbside. Her hug fierce. Eyes on the prize. Corazon. Voss is desperate, stock dip. Scandals brewing. Over martinis. She unveiled the play, leveraged buyout. Lumina as Trojan horse. Derek's the wild card. He's rallying shares against you. Beverly's son mocked his turmoil. Palm shadows dancing like doubts. The pitch room, walnut panels. Egos thicker than fog. Investors, silver foxes and sharp-suited dykes, leaned in as Cooper unveiled Lumina's tech. Apex's client list. A merger birthing inclusive opulence. Events aren't transactions, he said. Voice steel-wrapped silk. They're transformations. And transformation starts with owning your story. Applause rippled. Tentative then thunderous. Handshakes sealed. $20 mill package. Contingent on Voss's nod. Back in New York. Euphoria crashed against reality. Julian waited at JFK, roses in hand, but his eyes earnest. I cut ties with Derek. Told him to fuck off. They reconciled in the cab. Lips bruising, hands frantic under coats. They christened the reconciliation slow and sweet. Julian whispering litanies of sorry against Cooper's skin. You're my everything. Let me prove it. He did. For a while. Wedding invites went out. 50 souls. Queer kin and chosen allies. Bachelor party in Fire Island, bonfires. Boys in briefs. Julian's laughter genuine under stars. But Apex's shadow loomed. Voss summoned Cooper to the penthouse, floor-to-ceiling views of a city he once conquered. Heard rumors, Voss grunted. Cigar smoke curling like lies. Buyout? Ballsy. But Derek's got dirt, your little side hustle? Poaching talent. Cooper met his gaze. Unflinching. Dirt? Or diversity? Voss chuckled. Paternal poison. Son, this game's for winners. Gays like you? You're the entertainment. The word landed like a gut punch, echoing Derek's sneer. Cooper left with spine intact, but soul singed. Fall brought frenzy, due diligence, lawyers gnashing. Julian threw himself in, crunching numbers till 3 a.m. His loyalty a bomb. Yet paranoia festered. A leaked memo surfaced, anonymous. But Derek's fingerprints, Harlan's a flight risk. Rainbow Mafia incoming. The press nibbled, queer upstart eyes corporate coup. Right-wing blogs frothed, woke takeover? Apex under siege by agenda pushers. Crisis peaked at a Lumina showcase, rooftop bash for beta testers. Skyline ablaze in LED inclusivity, holograms projecting user stories. From coming out balls to corporate prides. Julian emceed. Charming. But midway, his phone died mid-call. Later, alone, Cooper found the texts. Derek. Need you back. Offer stands. Harlan's poison. Heart in freefall. Cooper confronted. Kitchen light harsh. Julian's face crumpling. It was a bluff. To buy time. Lies layered. Peeling under pressure. Truth. Derek's promotion baited with discretion, code for bury the gay. Julian wavered. Torn between ambition's siren and love's anchor. I panicked. Apex is security. House. Kids. Cooper's laugh barked. Hello. We talked adoption. Yeah. But not at the cost of your soul. The fight escalated. Words weapons. You're ashamed. You're paranoid. Plates shattered. Echoes of Ohio basements where fists flew for less. Julian stormed out. Doors slam a guillotine. Cooper sank to the floor. Sobs racking. The ring on his finger leaden. Dawn brought Elena. Cry it out. Then channel it. Voss signs tomorrow. He did. Raw emotion fueling the final push. Voss's office, tension thick as fog. You're a fighter. Harlan. Like me. Back in the day. Voss signed. Pen scratching surrender. But Derek stays. Earned his stripes. Ownership transferred at noon. Cooper Harlan. CEO of Apex Lumina. Press release. Inclusive merger ushers new era. Champagne popped in Soho. Team toasting the gay planner's revenge. But victory tasted ash. Julian's apartment dark. No answer. Days blurred, board meetings where Derek simpered congratulations. Eyes serpentine. Proud of you, boss. Water under the bridge. Cooper nodded. Bile rising. Nights alone. Bed vast as regret. He threw himself into reforms, diversity quotas, queer sensitivity training, events reimagined, pride panels alongside profit margins. Mia high-fived, "You're rewriting the script." But inner turmoil churned. Dreams, Julian's face. Blurred by betrayal. Whispering just the gay. Climax brewed at the holiday gala, his original vision. Unchained. Venue, the plaza. Orchids aglow. Bioluminescent magic weaving through chandeliers. Guests, A-listers. Activists. Voss in retirement tweed. Cooper in tux. Vine's tattoo peeking at cuffs. Scan the crowd. No Julian. Derek sidled up. Flute in hand. Impressive. Almost makes up for. You know. Heard Reyes bailed. Smart man, knew when to fold. Rage ignited. But Cooper swallowed it. Smile blade sharp. Fold? Or flee the fold? Mid-speech, tonight. We celebrate not tolerance, but triumph. The doors swung. Julian. Disheveled. Eyes wild. Stop. Crowd hushed. He climbed the stage. Mic snatched. I fucked up. Cooper. This man, my man, built empires from whispers. And I betrayed him for a corner office. Gasps rippled. Dirk paled. Voss shifted. Julian dropped to knees. Not proposal but penance. Marry me still? Or let me go? But no, I choose you. Every time. Tears streamed. Unashamed. Cooper's heart thundered, the fury. Forgiveness warring. He pulled Julian up. Kiss fierce. Crowd erupting. Flashbulbs popped. Headlines born. So's gala becomes love story. But betrayal's echo lingered. Derek's resignation hit inbox at dawn, golden parachute popped. But reputation shredded. You win, his note read. Cooper deleted. Unblocked Julian's number. Text home? Winter gripped New York like a grudge. Snow muffling the city's roar but amplifying the ache in Cooper's chest. The merger honeymoon soured fast, leaks from old guard. Client jitters over the queer pivot. Board whispers, Harlan's too emotional, soft. He armored up. Mornings in spin class purging doubts. Evenings scripting manifestos. Lumina's app launched to acclaim, Forbes feature, the planner who planned a revolution. But success spotlighted scars. Julian moved back. Tentative. The loft. Once love's nest. Now negotiation ground. Therapy? Cooper suggested over takeout tie. Rings glinting like fragile truces. Julian nodded. Eyes earnest. For us. And me, unpacking the internalized bullshit. Sessions unearthed roots. Julian's Catholic upbringing in the Bronx. Machismo's chokehold. The fear of being the gay exec in a firm that tokenized pride. Derek preyed on that, Julian admitted. Voice cracking. Made me feel lesser. Cooper listened. Hand in hand. The touch a tether. Forgiveness wasn't linear, nights of cold shoulders. Dawns of desperate making up. Sex shifted, from frantic to foundational. Julian learning Cooper's languages of longing. Whispers in the dark, You're my north. Wedding rescheduled for spring. Vows under cherry blossoms. Officiant a drag mama from Cooper's early days. Apex transformed under his hand. He gutted the non-compete. Poached talent from competitors. Launched a queer internship pipeline. Mia headed HR. Theo creative director. The firm a beacon. Events pulsing with pulse. A corporate retreat in the Hamptons. Mindfulness with muscle. Yoga for bros and brunches for chosen families. Derek's ghost lingered in empty desks. His exit sparking a domino. 2 VPs outed as bigots. Quietly called. But conflict crested in the unlikeliest storm. Family. Cooper's mother flew in from Ohio, steel-haired widow. Bible in purse. Eyes wary. She'd softened post-coming out. Pride cards in mail. But blood ran thick with unease. Dinner at per se, foie gras and fraught silences. Proud of you, she said. Fork trembling. But this? Buying the company? Revenge. Not revenge, Cooper lied. Julian squeezing his knee under linen. Redemption. Diane's gaze flicked to Julian. Softening. He loves you fierce. Like your father never did me. Tears welled, rare vulnerability from a woman who'd buried queerness under quilts. Post-dinner walk. Snowflakes veiling Times Square's glare. She hugged him tight. You're enough. Always were. Humanity's thread wove tighter. Yet high tide hit at the spring board meeting, Voss's farewell. A roast disguised as tribute. Suits packed the room. Air thick with backslaps. Cooper's address. Vision for Apex 2.0. Metrics married to meaning. Applause crested. Then Derek crashed in, uninvited. Ty askew. Scotch on breath. Bullshit, he slurred. Microphone commandeered. This fairy tale's a farce. Harlan bought us with pity money, queer cash for queer crap. Chaos erupted, gasps. Security scrambling. Julian lunged. But Cooper waved him off. Ascending the dais like a Colosseum gladiator. Derek, he said. Voice calm as a loaded gun. You built your throne on mockery. What? On merit. Crowd murmured assent. Derek lunged. Wild swing, fist glancing Cooper's jaw. Reopening that old scar. Blood trickled. Warm and symbolic. Julian tackled him. Pinned down fierce. Security hauled Derek away. Cuffs clicking like karma. Ashen. Muttered apologies. But the room's energy shifted, not pity, but power. Cooper dabbed blood. Mike reclaimed, this isn't about one man. It's about all of us, flawed. Family. Ovation thundered. Sealing his reign. Press frenzy followed, brawl at boardroom bash, ousted exec attacks new Sue. Derek's arrest, assault charges, splash tabloids. His career cremated. Whispers of settlement. NDA gagging his bile. Cooper spun it gold. Apex stands for safety. Solidarity. Internally. Purges. Audits revealing discrimination payouts buried under carpets. Battered but buoyant. Bloomed anew. Wedding day. Catskills cabin. Wildflowers rioting in meadows. 50 guests. Queer chorus of aunties in pearls. Uncles in kilts. Julian in cream linen. Vine's tattoo matching Cooper's. Vows, I choose your fire. Your fight. Your fragility, Rings exchanged under arbor. Kiss salt-kissed by happy tears. Reception. Bonfire tales. Then still dawn. Elena toasted, to the gay planner who planned us all. Honeymoon in Provincetown, dunes and drag shows. Hands intertwined on beaches where history whispered of outlaws loving loud. Julian proposed again. Playful, renewal vow, no more secrets. Cooper laughed. Pulling him down, deal. But you plan the next event. Back in the city. Apex soared, Q2 profits up 40%. Clients flocking to the Harlan effect. Cooper mentored at Parsons. Guest lectures on resilience. Mockery's a mirror, reflects their fear. Not your worth. Mia announced transition fund for staff. Theo's floral line launched. Rainbow rooted. Yet depth demanded darkness. One night. Post-gala afterglow. Julian confessed a ghost. Derek texted. Apology. Pathetic. Cooper's gut twisted, not jealousy, but justice's echo. Block him. We're past that. But sleep evaded. Mind replaying the boardroom blood. Was victory Pyrrhic? Had he become the monster? Wielding power like a whip? Morning clarity, no. Power. Wielded right. To. He donated Derek's settlement to Dane, anti-bullying for queer youth. Anonymous. But cathartic. Julian hugged him. That's you, grace in the grit. Summer solstice brought full circle. Apex's annual retreat. Hampton's Redux. Cooper Kino. Julian at his side. Now CMO. Openly proud. Guests included Ohio kin. Diane beaming in the front row. From rust to radiance, she whispered. As sun dipped, Cooper pulled Julian to the shore. Waves lapping like applause. We bought the company, he murmured. But it bought us back, to each other. Kiss deepened. Salt and sunset. A story unfinished but unbroken. Autumn gilded the skyline. Leaves carpeting Central Park like confetti from a parade long one. Cooper's life. Once a tightrope over abyss. Now span bridges, sturdy. Sublime. Apex Lumina dominated ledgers. Events for UN summits. Weddings for moguls who once sneered. His face graced Out magazine. The CEO who came out swinging. But fame's glare revealed fractures. Imposter whispers in quiet hours. The scar on his cheek a talisman touched absent-mindedly. Julian thrived. 2. Marketing maven. Pitching campaigns that blended boardroom savvy with boudoir bold. Their marriage, 6 months etched, evolved into easy intimacy, mornings tangled in sheets, coffee debates over the Atlantic. Yet conflict's embers smoldered. A client balked at Lumina's woke features, citing optics. Board pressure mounted, balance the rainbow. Harlan. Cooper pushed back. Memos flying. Inclusivity is our USP, unique selling power. Not proposition. Crisis ignited at a high-stakes bid. Pharma giant Redux. The same diversity charade. Derek's old haunt. Now helmed by a slick successor. Evan, charming viper. Derek's protege. Pitch room, echoes of that fateful day. Cooper presented. Unflappable, AI tailoring events to attendee psyches. Queer safe spaces coded in. Evan leaned in. Smile oily. Innovative. But can it sell without the activism? Julian. Flanking. Bristled. Post-meeting. In the limo, he's Derek 2.0. Cooper nodded. Jotted. Then we outbid. Outbuild. Nights blurred into war rooms. Team fortified. Mia hacked competitor bids, ethically. Via public filings, Theo sourced subversive suppliers. They won, narrow. But nectar sweet. Betrayal's sequel struck subtler, internal. A junior exec, Thomas Brykid, fresh from Yale. Queer but closeted, leaked event specs to rivals. Motive, Evans' bribe. Promising, straight path, sans Harlan's shadow. Discovery crushed. Tomas in tears. Office confessional. I wanted in. Not outed. Cooper's heart fractured, echo of Julian's waver. But purer pain. Firing loomed. But mercy prevailed. Go, he said. Voice gentle steel. But learn, closets kill slower than candor. Tomas left with reference. Therapy stipend, Apex's new ethos, redemption over ruin. Press spun soft, Sio's compassion in leak scandal. Love deepened in the deluge. Julian sensed the toll. Planning surprise. Weekend in the Berkshires. Cabin cocooned in fog. Fireplace crackle. Urban worms. They unpacked. You're carrying the world, Julian said. Fingers tracing Cooper's temples. Let me carry you. Vulnerability poured. Cooper's fear of becoming Voss, Power's corrosion. What if I mock the next gay planner? Julian's kiss silenced doubt. You won't. You're the man who rose. They made love by firelight. Bodies a dialogue of devotion, slow explorations. Gasps mapping gratitude. Dawn hike trails. Hand in hand. Leaves crunching like breakthroughs. We're human, Julian affirmed. Flawed footnotes in a larger love. Humanity's arc bent toward light. Cooper launched Harlan Grants, microfunds for queer entrepreneurs. Seeds from his nest egg. First recipient, a trans baker in Brooklyn. Events for her pop-up. Elena mentored beside him. Duo dynamic, from planner to patron saint. Climax crested not in boardrooms, but hearths. Thanksgiving, blended families. Diane hosting in Ohio, turkey and tofurkey. Toasts bridging divides. Julian's clan from the Bronx, abuelas eyeing tattoos. Tios grilling. Awkward graces flowed into stories. Cooper's escape. Julian's rebellions. Diane pulled him aside. You bought more than a company, son. You bought belonging. Tears pricked. Redemptive. Back in New York. Winter's hush invited reflection. Apex's holiday gala. Pinnacle. His unchained vision. Plaza aglow. Orchids eternal. Speech. We mocked. We betrayed. We built. But in the building, we found mercy. Guest rose. Voss in crowd. Humbled nod. Post-glow. Loft quiet. Julian proposed toast. To us, the gay planners of our own lives. Laughter bubbled. Love liquid gold. Yet by Kitsch's whisper, a call from Tomas. Thriving in new gig. Thank you. For seeing me. Closure's gift. Spring thawed into renewal. Anniversary, Central Park picnic redux. Ring renewals under blossoms. Cooper's novel, memoir disguised as fiction, inked deal, fairy lights and freight trains. Excerpts leaked. Buzz building. Skyline Sentinel. Cooper reflected, from hook's hook, door slam. Slur sting, to this. Mockery minted him. Not marred. Betrayal? Catalyst. Romance? Redemption. He texted Elena, "We did it." Reply, "You did. Mijo. Now live it." Julian joined. Arms encircling. "What's next? Seal?" Cooper turned. Hazel eyes alight. "Always us." Kiss sealed. City humming harmony. In America's vast, vexed heart. One man's arc, from just the gay planner to the one who planned it all. Epilogue whisper, years on. Apex a dynasty. Cooper graying gracefully. Julian's hand eternal. Grants bloomed businesses, Grants birthed babies, adopted twins. Vines inked on tiny arms. Mockers faded footnotes. Legend living. Human. Heroic.